What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So nursing homes across America are closing, and experts warn that this could lead to a spike in elder abuse. Why? Because families are being forced to take their elderly parents home even if they can't care for them properly. And all of this is courtesy of the Orange Man and his very big, very beautiful bill. Anyways, credit to all the creators on this video. Let's keep watching and we'll come back and talk some more.
So now we kicking old people out of nursing homes. We just packing a bag and chucking up the dudes. That's what we doing now. Because that's what's happening. And the reason it's happening is because these states are not going to foot the bill. Remember that big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump signed? Yeah. He didn't give a crap about your grandma. You're going to have to move her in with you, boo-boo. He don't care. That's what people don't realize. And y'all are so gung-ho in supporting him. And he is tearing your life apart. Kicking old people out nursing homes over money. God, what would Jesus do? He would flip a lid because this is inhumane, but this is what you voted for.
We don't want to hear shit when you lose your Medicaid. We don't want to hear shit when you lose your SNAP. We don't want to hear shit from those states when FEMA doesn't show up for your tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods this year. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that those tax breaks are not for you, but they're for the rich. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that no tax on tips and overtime ain't even real. We don't want to hear shit when you figure out that he is increasing the debt ceiling by trillions of dollars, which is going to cost us a lot. Because we try to tell you. So you're excited about this bill passing? Just remember when all that shit happens to you to not open your fucking mouth.
Well, I just spoke to my mother who's in the nursing home. You know, she and my family have told me for the past 10 years to keep my mouth shut and to not offend people with my, political views. Because my political views are, let's take care of people. Let's not be assholes. And let's not lie about facts. Because immigrants are not more dangerous than the men that have my skin color. Never have been. Never will be. Ever. We are the predators. It's on every single map. It's charts and graphs, man. If you have problems with numbers, it's basic charts and graphs. Okay, but I digress. My mom called. She's already heard about what's happening at the nursing homes because she lives in a nursing home. Thank God my brother put her in a nursing home in Kansas and not Missouri. That's her only hope, is that she's in a blue state. Of course, Kansas is still full of a whole bunch of, my dad used to say sunflowers and sons of bitches, but I loved Kansas. Missouri's the sons of bitches. Missouri's holding a special election, trying to get everybody redistricted, because they are the boot-licking. What does Trump have on them? He's holding everybody hostage. But now, here's where they fucked up. They passed that big, beautiful bill. And everyone said, oh, we're going to get all these people that don't deserve Medicaid off of Medicaid. Shit. Whatever. Y'all that don't understand how anything works, that's not how it works. There's nobody on Medicaid that doesn't fully qualify for Medicaid. They only look through your fucking doctor's records. Idiots. Okay, but my mom called, and she's not sure what she's going to do. And the only good thing, and if this video got out to my brother, he would say, yeah, there's my sister. We told that motherfucker never to vote for Donald Trump. My brother there are familial responsibilities in 29 states out of 50. And what that means is, it's a little known fact that children are responsible for their parents. That's for their food, clothing, housing, and medical care. The children are financially responsible for their parents. Now, you may have had a bad mom. You may have had a horrible dad. But because of the fact that they are your parent, there is a little known fact called a filial, F-I-L-L-A-L, I believe it is, responsibility. It means that you are responsible for all of the bills, for all of your mother's medication, for all of your mother's welfare, for her clothes, for her food. Oh, she's not going to get SNAP benefits because we already cut all the SNAP benefits. So I hope you don't mind working a third job to take care of your mom. And I told my mom this afternoon, good thing her son's Republican. The only family member in our family that is Republican is one of my brothers. And we don't know what the fuck happened to him. I mean, we're all Democrats. As far as the eye can see, we've got one lone Republican, but he's the one that insisted on voting for Donnie John. So now he's going to be finding out, because I have one brother that is not super healthy. not able to take care of my mother. And then I'm out here in California. I'm not bringing her out here. I don't even have a place to live out here where I could take care of her. Dadgummit. You know, I saw a gal that was a physical therapy tech, and she's like, well, they said they were going to send my dad home from the nursing home. So I went down a rabbit hole. What fucking rabbit hole? We've been telling you they were lying. We told you they were lying. You don't need to go down a rabbit hole. All you need to do is listen to other humans. See, the only way that we were able to come from the East Coast to the West Coast is we got into a wagon trail with a bunch of other people, and we circled our wagons together. We've always done that since the beginning of humanity. We listen to each other and take advice from each other. That's how we survive in this big, crazy, fucked up place called Earth. We have done that since we began speaking. We chose a leader, the person that was the smartest, the person that was the most qualified, no matter what color their skin was, and no matter where they went to college, or even if they had a cackly laugh. Apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene is sick of the good old boys club. You think? You think? The whole thing is a good old boys club. Trump is out here saying today that he's not going to give federal funds to anybody that doesn't support all of Israel's companies. You don't think he's not holding something over on those people? The Republicans that keep bending to him? Would you bend to that man? Can you imagine what it's like to be his wife? Can you imagine what that disaster is like? Every time she says something happened, he says, no, it didn't. Every time she wants to talk about something, all he's got coming out of his mouth are lies, lies, lies. Just more lies. Lies for her and lies for him. Lies for all of them. Because all they do is lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. So we have disabled people in our red states trying to decide, can I get to another country? Or do I just have to have a plan B here? Because I will not sit here with no food, no medicine, and no place to live. We've abandoned our elderly. And the people that act like they're surprised, we all fucking told you this was going to happen. But see, the big, beautiful bill passage wasn't supposed to go into effect until after the 2026 elections. So they were smart enough. Oh, and a lot of things won't even go into effect until after the 2028 elections. Because your old boy's building himself a grand ballroom with gold chairs that he can just be hanging over. Dudes, the Republicans are in for a shock. 29 states where it is the adult children's responsibility to pay for everything for grandma and grandpa. You got a spouse that needs extended care? Fuck that. He's coming home now. We have no place to put our Alzheimer's people. We have no place to put our dementia people. We have no place to put our Parkinson's people. We have no place to put people after they've had a stroke. We have no place. Because see, what used to happen is people used to have things like health insurance that paid for nursing home care and long-term care. Didn't pay for it anymore. See, because our health insurance CEOs, they just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. They're the gatekeeper that keep us from our own medical care. Only place you're going to get good medical care for your grandma? Mexico. Hopefully you can get her down in Mexico City or Canada. Hopefully you have some sort of big in-demand job, which is one of the reasons why if you are an older woman, I don't care if you never wanted to be a nurse, if you never wanted to be a nurse anesthetist, if you never wanted to be a nurse practitioner, sucks to suck, now might be the time. If you thought you were too old, I tell you, one of the reasons, I mean, they're always going to need healthcare people everywhere. I don't care if you're an ambulance driver, I don't care what, but if you may need to get out of this country with your mother in order to get her care. I went through this a couple of years ago, saying that I wanted to move my mother to Ireland, where she would receive care. She was too scared. She didn't want to leave Kansas City. Thank God my brother got her to Kansas and got her over to the Kansas side, where she's now on Medicaid from Kansas. She knows what's happening. These elderly people are going to be tossed in the street because these for-profit businesses, and they are all for profit, are not going to keep grandma and grandpa pay for their meds, pay for everything when they are not getting paid back by Medicaid. They won't be able to staff the place. The only way that any hospital stays staffed is through Medicaid reimbursements. And when those dry up, which they will, because our dumbity-dumb friends thought that this Medicaid cut was only going to hurt able-bodied young men living in their mother's basement. Because the Republicans are lying. That's all they do is lie. So call your grandma Or see her while you can while she's still here. Because this is going to be bad.
When he cut those funds, a lot of facilities lost the money that they relied on, right? And now they can't afford to keep caring for elderly residents. Families are suddenly being told that they need to take their loved ones home, even if they're sick, even if they're disabled, and even if they need 24-hour care. And this is causing a lot of online discourse. Anyways, let's keep watching.
I seen some posts about them saying that people gonna basically be getting kicked out the nursing homes because they rejecting Medicaid and Medicare and stuff. And a lot of older people are gonna pass away. Some of them gonna pass away in the streets and never gonna make it to a family member's house or to some type of care or housing. I worked in a nursing home, and when people came there for rehab or something like that, if they didn't have nowhere to go after that, they literally would roll them outside to the end of the street with their damn bags. And if they had something wrong with them that was medical that they probably could need help with, the nursing home sometimes would call the ambulance for them. And if the ambulance didn't take them, they was shit out of luck. Then there's people that went home with folks that you could tell they did not want them to go home with. They was being rough, getting them in the car, throwing their bags in the back. You could tell that they was going to roughhouse them or lead them in a room to basically urinate and poop on themselves all damn day. People talking about make room for Mima and Pawpaw. They gonna have their asses living in the living room again. They gonna set up a cot bed right there in the living room again and have her there sitting there with all the kids all day, all night until that lady pass away. That's what it's gonna be. Elderly abuse is gonna skyrocket. Y'all think that they was being neglected and abused in them nursing homes because they were short staffed, which they were. But it's going to get worse in them family houses. People think, oh, nobody will love you like family. No, some of these families going to get revenge on these folks. It's parents and grandparents out here that did nothing but beat, berate, and drink and get high and do nothing but terrible things to their kids and grandkids. And you think if they forced to take them home, they're going to do right by them. Y'all will be mistaken. Y'all going to see a bunch of terrible shit in the news. A bunch of terrible shit. Just like how during COVID, child abuse and domestic violence went up, elderly abuse been a skyrocket.
Okay, so this morning I get up and I'm seeing all of these people down my timeline talking about the fact that in the next 20 to 30 days, they have to come get their parents out of the nursing home because the nursing homes no longer accept the Medicaid and Medicare or whatever, right? It brought me back to in my early 20s when I was working at a nursing home. I was activity director. And I remember that majority of the people that lived at the nursing home were older white people. Majority from up north, but you get what I'm saying. Older white people. The thing that gets me is the fact that people voted for this to go away, right? You voted for it. I don't know if you voted for it thinking that there were going to be some exceptions, but you voted for this. And to see so many, and I'm sorry, but that's what I'm seeing, so many white people on here complain about the fact that they have jobs, they have families, they can't take care of their parents. Because I remember working in those nursing homes, a lot of those people were on, heavy medications that they had to take every so many hours. They were on breathing machines. They had to have 24-hour, 7-day a week, around the clock care. They had to be, bathed, fed, and turned. Get ready to quit your jobs, buttercups, because when I was working at those nursing homes, the one particular race that I didn't see in there wiping butts and feeding people were white people. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Majority of those people that worked in those nursing homes taking care of your mothers and fathers were black and brown people. The only white people that really worked in nursing homes were always the directors or something like that. They were the ones at the top of the food chain, right? So now that you got to come and get your parents out of these nursing homes, I'm petrified of what's going to happen to these people, because you got to turn them every so many hours. You got to feed them every so many hours. They're on ventilators. They got to take medications at a certain time. I'm almost petrified of what's going to happen to these people. But you voted for this. And now you got to be the CNAs, the home CNAs for your parents. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but have you ever picked up your mom or your dad that what now weighs, 235 pounds of dead weight? Baby, that ain't nothing to play with. And if you can't afford for them to be in these nursing homes, you damn sure are not going to be able to afford somebody to come in your home and take care of your parents. And you guys don't be united like that. You hardly ever see black people in nursing homes
Rarely you do. Sometimes you do. But majority of a nursing home is filled with older white people. I'm scared of what's going to happen to these older people in here. Them being at home, no one's, coming to see if they're okay or if they're getting their medications. Now it's just you and them. And you're not going to be able to afford the medications that your mom and your dad is on. This is going to be a big ass problem. But y'all ain't think about that when y'all asses out there voting, did you? Because you thought it was going to be everybody else, and now it's your ass.
My dad lives in a nursing home, and by now I'm sure you've seen the video circulating about the woman who's really concerned because her dad is getting kicked out of his nursing home due to Medicare. And this is just the anticipatory changes that the big, beautiful bill is putting into place. What people don't understand is a lot of nursing homes are actually owned by these big corporations, right? So the big corporations, your local branch isn't that, but like they are owned like by private equity, things like that. Like I know the one that my dad lives in is like that. And so the rules kind of come from on top. So it sounds like some of these nursing homes are figuring, well, we're not going to get reimbursed from Medicare in the future. So we're going to just start evicting people who, pay that way because we don't want to suffer the losses. And instead we'll try to fill those spots with people who pay out of pocket. Now, in my case, like my dad, we actually pay out of pocket, or I should say he pays out of pocket for his nursing home care. But what is it going to do when I guarantee you like 70-80% of the people who are at my dad's facility are in some type of Medicare reimbursement, especially if they're in like very long-term care situations. Like that is super common. I don't think people understand that. And so what's going to happen when these facilities can't fill the apartments because there's not enough people who can afford? I mean, to give you an idea, it's over $4,000 a month, guys. $4,000. I mean, think about like that. That's like almost triple my mortgage. Okay. It's crazy. And in my case, like what would happen if I was in this situation? Because I'm thinking about that. Like what's going to happen if like my dad's facility, for example, shuts because there's not going to be beds anywhere for these people to go. So the burden is going to be on the families. And like in my case, I don't have anywhere to put this man. And I don't live in a handicap accessible home. And there is no housing in my area. So I can't just like pick up and move. And I have a mortgage from 2011. Like I can't just move. Like that's not really an option. So like I don't know what I would be doing if I was in that same situation, and I am really worried. And if you're thinking, well, I'm so lucky, I don't have anyone in nursing care, I'm not going to be impacted. Let me just tell you that this is just the one little arm of the ripple effect that this is all going to have, right? What's going to happen when hospitals aren't getting reimbursed for things? What's going to happen when your doctors are not getting reimbursed? They're going to go private practice. I'm telling you, this whole healthcare system is like on a house of cards. Like it's all going to come crumbling down, and it's going to come crumbling down fast, unfortunately. So if you are worried about this, if you have loved ones that are going to be impacted, or you're going to be directly impacted by this, please know you're not in this alone.
Okay, just found out this afternoon that the nursing home that my dad is in is ending their Medicaid contracts. And he has until September 15th to figure out what to do. And so I've just been down the rabbit hole to try to figure out why would a nursing home end their Medicaid contracts, because even though they lose money per resident, the majority of the beds are filled with Medicaid long-term patients. So why would you end those contracts? You have to be in financial distress, I would think. This isn't a nursing home that is anybody's first choice. Okay, you're only going there if you couldn't get in anywhere else, or there wasn't any room anywhere else. That's kind of how we ended up there. Plus, it's only like one of two facilities in Memphis that has in-house dialysis. And at the time my dad started dialysis in the hospital and was really sick, he could barely move. I mean, he's able to walk now, and he's, it's a miracle what he can do now. But so we thought that would be, the easiest thing for him at the time. So, I mean, just going down the rabbit hole, it seems like this facility is in financial distress, maybe going to close. I don't know. The company that owns this nursing home owns 5 throughout Tennessee and Kentucky. It has an above average staffing shortage, nursing staff turnover rate. So at 55%, it's a 1-star nursing home. So, I mean, why else would you end Medicaid contracts? Maybe it's as simple as getting less money. I don't think it's because they're trying to restructure and make more money from skilled beds, because I'm telling you, that's not anybody's first choice. It's no. So yeah, can anyone enlighten me? Is this happening anywhere else?
This is a slow-moving crisis, right? We're talking about people who need help eating, bathing, or even moving from their bed. And when that care disappears, some elders will suffer in silence, no doubt, right? Others will end up in dangerous situations, and it all traces back to the funding cuts that people didn't think would affect them until now, that is. Anyways, credit to all the original creators of the videos, and thank you so much for tapping in when you saw this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on my next one.